Welcome to Evolve Your Life, the podcast where values meet vision, ambition meets alignment, and family fuels your purpose. I'm Dr. Stefanie Ascher, chiropractor, entrepreneur, homeschool mom, cancer warrior, and your go-to girl for building harmony in every area of life. Around here, women step into living fully and authentically, and we believe you are capable and worthy of it all. So grab your coffee, get cozy, and let's evolve your life together. Hey, love, welcome back to Evolve Your Life. Today's episode is all about faith before hustle. And I am going to be really honest. This is something I'm still learning. I do not have it all figured out, and I definitely don't get it perfect, but it's something that I know matters because every time I lead from faith instead of fear or control, life feels lighter and better. And every time I don't, it feels heavy and uncertain. So today's episode is less about me teaching you and more about inviting you to slow down with me and remember what truly anchors us. Throughout the years, I noticed myself constantly trying to control everything, pushing for more, striving for the next best thing. And when you lead from that place, you can hit all the markers you want, but it leads to a lack of fulfillment and a lot of resentment. When I surrendered during my cancer journey to my circumstances, where I was at, and gave up just complete control and put all of my faith and trust in God and His plan and His purpose for my life and in the battle, I felt a level of peace and contentment and comfort and faith that I have never experienced before. Faith for me during that time became less of a concept and more of a lifeline, but not in a perfectly consistent morning devotional everyday kind of way. It's still something that I crave more consistency in, but I'm learning that faith is about presence and not perfection. It's not about how many devotionals I do, how many Bible verses I can read and memorize in a day, not about how many sermons I can listen to, but it's about how I show up when I don't know what's next. Sometimes faith looks like taking the next right step, even when the whole path isn't clear. I have found a few key ways that I can reconnect quickly when I'm feeling disconnected from my faith, where I can ground myself when the chaos of life is feeling really loud and overwhelming, and moments of quiet that actually help me feel closer to God. And I want to share those with you. One really simple thing is before I get out of bed every day, I pray and I focus on gratitude. Before I grab my phone, before I take a sip of coffee, before my feet hit the floor, I'm spending a moment with God. It's a way that I can start my day with intention and with presence to be grounded and rooted in my faith before all the craziness and chaos ensues. I have found that my car time is sacred to me. If you know me personally, you laugh because you know that my car is my place of peace and comfort. And the reason I've realized is because when I was sick, I would drive myself back and forth to treatments. And many people don't know this, but I would leave treatments very confused. My brain was very foggy. I would joke that it was like Dory from Finding Nemo. I actually got lost going home multiple times. I started taking back roads instead of main roads, and I still do. But during my car rides, I would listen to praise and worship music. I have a playlist called Our Battle on Spotify, and Our Battle because it was mine and God's battle. And that playlist carried me through. And listening to sermons every day carried me through during that time. I no longer listen to daily sermons. I listen to my daily praise and worship music, and I try to listen to at least 2 sermons a week. But that time in the car with my intentional playlist and that time with God helps me reframe and reset for my day. Whether I'm on my way to work or coming home from work, the time of day may differ, but that is a commitment that I have to help keep me rooted in my faith and in my purpose and in my why and in God's calling for my life. Also, I have started to lead and make business decisions from a place of asking for guidance rather than forcing outcomes. Especially lately, there have been a lot of moving parts, a lot of new transitions, and I'm navigating a lot of unknown. And I'll share a story with you. In the middle of September, I was looking at a commercial building, and there was something in my gut that kept telling me that I was forcing something that wasn't the right choice. And I was praying that God would either open the door wide open or slam it in my face. And I've now learned that I have to be a little bit more aware of what I'm praying for, because God answered that prayer loud and clear and he slammed the door in my face. And of course, I was upset, but also he delivered exactly what I was praying for. And so that building was not going to work out. I cried for a couple minutes. I hugged Steve, and then I started praying. And I heard his voice speak to me so clearly. And he said, "Trust the process. Something better is coming." And I pulled out my laptop and pulled up a website, and it was not a website that I normally look at. I am going to actually be sharing all about this in a future episode about the building process that I'm currently walking through. But in that moment, I found the building that I'm currently under contract for. And so I have just learned that surrendering is a form of strength, and trusting in the guidance and the clarity that only He can provide will help you follow the path that you are meant to walk. We do not need a perfect morning routine to walk with God. You just need a willing heart. Your faith grows in the cracks where we stop trying to hold everything together. And so I invite you that this week, it doesn't have to be about adding another thing to your to-do list. Maybe it's about pausing before you open your eyes and take your first sip of coffee for the day. Maybe it's changing what you're listening to on your car rides. And maybe it's as simple as trusting the timing, showing up with gratitude, or letting go of something that you've been clinging to. You don't have to have it all figured out to walk by faith. You just have to take one step at a time and trust that you are being led. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Evolve Your Life. If this episode inspired you, leave a review, share it with a friend, follow so you never miss a moment, and come connect with me on Instagram at Dr. Stefanie Ascher. Until next time, keep evolving your life boldly, beautifully, and unapologetically.